Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we kept going with our Viridian Void Crusade, and we're going to keep it going to this time. Keep bumping up the difficulty, giving us the XP gains. Heat resistance for champions sucks, but what else can we do? Ranged attacks have a 30% miss chance. I'll take heat resist. I'll just shoot them more. That is a far preferable thing than to be stuck missing a third of the time. So I got some fun news for you guys. You might have seen it already. So, you know Ubisoft, goofy old Ubisoft, the glue-eating kid of the games industry. So we know they have the Division Heartland, their Division extraction shooter. Well, there's a rumor floating around now. They're also working on a Far Cry extraction shooter. Hold your applause. You know, who could have seen this company coming? The company making 2 games of the same genre that would likely release within, I'd say, a year probably of each other. Because, let's be honest, they're probably going to just yoink as much from Heartland as possible and just graft it on. I'm kind of speechless, legitimately speechless with this. But boy, do I have a lot to say. First thing to say, what the hell? I think that's a pretty good start here. Just, what the hell, Ubisoft? Going from there, why? I keep saying it time and time again. I am a broken record at this point. Studios need to stop chasing trends. As I stated last week, there is a finite amount in a market. The more games that enter a market, the more they are fighting each other for market share, and they will eventually reach a point where they are fighting each other tooth and nail for very little. And as we've seen with, like, DMZ, it really doesn't have the staying power Warzone had. Warzone doesn't have the staying power Warzone had. Instead of looking to be the next trend, they're just chasing the current trend, which is already on its way out. I can't say I'm shocked. I'm genuinely 100% not surprised in the slightest. This is a Minnesota deep cut. This is a, if you know Minneapolis, deep cut. I am as surprised about this as I am when I hear of a shooting happening on Lake Street in Minneapolis, or someone overdosing at one of the light rail stations. If you don't know, that's about a daily occurrence for both of those situations, if not multiple times in the same day. But so, Ubisoft just, in their infinite wisdom, being like, yeah, so this market that's already very discernibly on its way out, with its very small player base
Retrospectral scanning revealed info fragments of
we must try to muscle in. We must muscle into the very small niche genre that Activision and Call of Duty are failing to keep a grip on, and that DICE completely fumbled.
By the Emperor,
because we'll do it different. How? I don't know.
Let's see what's so important in the chest.
Everything I've seen for Division Heartland is not unique. It's the Division, but you lose gear when you die. The only upside to that is maybe having damage numbers that aren't stupid. We won't have to deal with picking up like a M240 that deals 800,000 damage per second. Or some stupid thing where at a certain point the number is meaningless. Beyond that, what's the point? What good does this do? It's just like Arc Raiders when they decided to go PvP. I love it. Every time I sit here, I'll get bored and I'm like, is there any news on Arc Raiders? Go onto YouTube, see a couple videos, and the comment sections are just people who are like, yeah, this game's gonna die. It's all PvP, it's gonna just have shitters camping extractions. Don't bother. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. So I eagerly await this. I just cannot figure out who... First off, who in Ubisoft is bankrolling all of these? Because at least in my mind, you have to pitch this to somebody, and this has to get run up the ladder to secure funding. So who is this getting run up to, and who's just like, yeah, sure, video game, make it. Because if I was in that position and someone said, hey, we want to make an extraction shooter, I'd be like, get your resume updated, because you come to me with that shit again, and you're not going to have a job.
Data has been inloaded.
Yeah, that's harsh, but you're having just the most smooth-brained take of like, let's just do what everyone else is doing, because that's gonna work when we're years late. But I figure the next big thing is gonna be top-down CRPGs. We're gonna get a bunch of hack job attempts at that, because everybody will go, oh, Baldur's Gate was good, we can do Baldur's Gate. And they're not gonna understand what made Baldur's Gate 3 good. They're gonna be like, is it sex? Is that what sold the game? Is it the turn-based combat? Not understanding, like, good story, interesting environments, having actually well-designed classes, gear where power creep is kept in check very well. They're all critical components that mesh together to make a single, good, cohesive game. If you remove any single aspect, you start losing the secret sauce here. And I can guarantee they're not going to go as hard as Baldur's Gate 3 did, as hard as Larian did with, like, the Dark Urge. One of the first things you do for, like, the Dark Urge storyline, you have a tiefling shows up, or if they're unconscious or dead already, then you get a dragonborn who shows up and they're a bard and they're like, hey, can I stay at your camp for the night? And you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And your character, without even you realizing it, just murders them. Straight up just tears them apart, and you have to choose how you react. If you hide the body, if you're just like, whatever, and go back to sleep. You just straight up murk someone without a care in the world. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna fumble and hackney the hell out of it. They're gonna avoid making anything that might make someone upset. All this could trigger someone. It could, I don't know, offend someone. I identify as a dragon person, and seeing one get ripped to shreds offends me. Something stupid. Instead of just being like, yeah, we're putting some real shit in here. How do you respond? That's what makes Baldur's Gate 3 good. The how do you respond aspect. It's good, it's cool. It's also very predictable if you played the previous games or know D&D lore, but who cares, it's still awesome. What's my inventory looking like? It's crap, but we'll just dump it quick. Oh, right. I have meme viruses sitting around I forgot to use. So the next mission is this one. I'm not surprised. Ubisoft running around Ubisoft and all over the place, that... And I always have to say it to kind of... For anybody who stumbles upon a video and doesn't fully understand, like... I don't shit on any studio out of just like some deep-seated grudge or any hatred. I hold everyone to a higher standard. Because I know what they can do. I remember early Ghost Recons. I remember Advanced Warfighter. I remember Future Soldier. I remember Hawks. I remember the old Far Cry's 2, 3. Can't believe I have to consider 3 old now. I remember old Ubisoft. So when they do dumbass things, I have to look at it and be like, what the hell are you doing? Especially because if the people who join these studios were fans of the old games, they should have the wherewithal to look at these things and go, oh, we're screwing up. Like, they should be able to identify we're treading a different path than what we should be. Five meme viruses? Damn. But so it's disappointing. And that's my thing. I want better. I'm so tired of trend chasing. Yes, people will always go, but there is always trend chasing. Yeah, of course there was. Usually it was tied to the advent of technology. After Doom came out, we had how many Doom clones? Off the top of my head, you had stuff like Wolfenstein, Rise of the Triad. You could even count Duke Nukem 3D. There was a number of games that tried to leverage that. But there was also enough people who went, hey, That's cool. We're still gonna go our own way, though, and do our own thing because we got our own ideas. And there were studios that did stupid things. 3DO. I love 3DO. They're one of my favorite studios and companies from back in the day. I love the Army Men games. Whether it was the PC Air Tactics game, the PS1 Air Attack games. I played a lot of the PC ones, so like not Call of Duty, Army Men World at War. There was, or was it World War? There was Army Men 2, Army Men Toys in Space. They were great games. But I also understand they screwed up because they pumped out games sometimes 6 months after each other. But they also just did their own thing. And Army Men RTS was absolutely baller. Damn, another high-end Psalm code? We're popping off this run. I am very pleased. But it's tiring. You know, we had it decent. I won't say like we had it great, it was perfect. No, there were problems. There were bad games. There were a ton of movie tie-ins that weren't good. Guys like Obo Shoes Games do a bunch of old games. Like he did a video on the Battleship game. You remember Battleship, the one with Rihanna that didn't have anything to do with like the Milton Bradley board game? It was more or less just, hey, this is a recruiting tool for the United States Navy where you fight aliens. Was the game good? No. Did it have cool ideas? Yes. There were worse movie tie-ins. Trust me. Do you remember Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, the game? You probably don't. I do. I wish I didn't, but I do. But so, we had bad stuff, but it was just diluted, I think. And that's kind of the problem, is with all these trend chasings, it wouldn't be bad if there was enough to dilute it, where it's like, oh, okay, cool. I don't need to play this, because whatever I need as a player is being met by someone. Oh, I want a first-person shooter that's combined arms. Cool. I'm gonna go play MAG. I'm gonna go play Dust 514. I'm gonna go play Section 8. I don't need to play Battlefield. I want objective-based gameplay. Cool. I'm gonna go play Enemy Territory Quake Wars. I'm gonna go play Brink. Yeah, Brink kinda sucked, but their damage model was wonky. The idea was there. They had heart. I'll give them that. Ooh, seasonal mission is now a boss mission. This is working out perfect. Pop another meme virus since we got a ton of them. And we'll just go knock that out right now. Boost to champions, I'm thinking. Psalm code. +1 enemy champion, yes, give me that. That's what I need. And heat resist. Ooh, I don't like that. What about... I don't want crafting materials. That's not... Wait, can we get another... No, that sucks. 25% resistance. Not the greatest, but I'll roll with it. I got good vibes about this run. I would have liked to try to squeeze out like another champion spawn, but we got this. 25% damage reduction or resistance, yeah, that sucks. But I'd rather have him resist 25 of everything than like 50 or 60 heat, and then I'm sitting here having to dump 2 shots. I was gonna use that flamethrower, and this whole time I'm just like, I don't need to use the flamethrower. I kind of am kicking myself for not using it, but at the same time, Void Crusades are like these, I don't want to gamble on it. I don't want to sit here and try to monkey with something else when I've got the formula down. Why mess with a formula when you already got it good? Remember New Coke? I don't even remember New Coke, I'll be honest. I think that was before my time. But I do remember hearing stories of it. Or like, I love telling this story. This is a business story, but it's always one that just... It shows you the stupidity of people. I believe it was A&W. Yes, the company that makes root beer. They also have a restaurant. Amazing restaurant. I'm sad the one near me closed. I will never forgive the company for shutting it down. They had amazing burgers, and I always liked because they would chill the mugs, so you get like a little... Like the root beer would freeze ever so slightly. It was amazing. But what they did was they were trying to compete with the Quarter Pounder from, I think, McDonald's. And what they did is they made a third pounder. Obviously, more meat. It failed to sell well because people looked at it and thought, oh, 3 is smaller than 4, therefore I'm paying more for less burger. Yeah. It is painful to sit down and think people looked at just one number and was like, oh, I'm clearly getting screwed. Not doing the math and going, oh, 33% of a pound over 25% of a pound. Clearly I'm getting more. They're just like, nah, small number equal bad. That is something I will tell you. If you're ever feeling down, you're ever sitting there thinking, man, I'm dumb, man, I'm something negative, remember there were people who caused that to fail because they thought that 1/3 was smaller than 1/4. Reminds me, there was I think it was George Carlin bit, where he said, think of like your average dumb person, and realize 50% of people are dumber than that. Which is true. Your average dumb person. So there are people dumber, and you meet them. They're real, they walk among you. It is a terrifying thought. Just thinking about Ubisoft, though. That's what I don't understand. So they're making an extraction shooter, so their plan is to make a second extraction shooter. Once again, markets, you don't want to cannibalize an existing market. If you make... I don't even know. Actually, great examples are like... I'm trying to think, like, with games, there's been so many instances where it turns out a publisher owns games from, or two studios that are competing. And so what they try to do is they try to stagger the releases, because otherwise if you release like a Call of Duty and then a similar shooter right like a month after each other, one of them is not going to get the sales that it should, because nobody's going to buy it because they already have the other game. Notes of Saint Eustachius. Eustathius? I don't like that Archaeotech shield I just picked up. I don't want it. Oh, I scooped it up on accident. Okay. Notes of Saint Eustathius. Born in the Agartha subsector, this confessor became renowned for his ability to sense the Astronomicon through sheer faith, without being psychic. His unfailing connection to the Emperor's Light allowed him to travel between severe warp storms and re-establish contact with Imperial planets previously thought unreachable. In 729 M39, so the 39th millennium, so the year 39,729, he departed on a pilgrimage to the lost shrine world of Praetula 7 and never returned. He left behind many handwritten notes scribbled down during his travels, which were proclaimed holy relics after his induction into sainthood. Yeah, give me more loot. Yeah, I had like 41 Uther's Tarot. I burned them all. I'm like, yeah, this will give me an upgrade. Like 3 cards got 4 out of 10, and then everything else is just like, yeah, just to the wind. It'll go everywhere. And I'm like, oh, come on. I just want 1 level up on a tarot card. Hopefully one I actually use. But it happens. You're kind of gambling against fate here when you have, what, like, I'd guess 12, 14 cards per, if not 16 cards per 2 sections, and you're trying to get 10 to go directly to 1, and you don't have control over that. Alright, let's get that skill point in. What was this? Oh, don't care. More suppression. Yeah, 2 Aegis Psalms. That's actually pretty good. Slow on burning skill hit, vulnerability effectiveness, extra energy shield, dot duration. Yeah, we'll run that. That's a good upgrade. Rest of this is all junk. Aimed or sniper skills, don't use them. Can't enter Berserk state, so that's pointless. That is... it's an upgrade, but it's also a downgrade because it's only 4 stats, or 4 traits. Shield. Enraged token. Wow. If only it didn't have that. If it was a 5 stat and had none of that aimed sniper skill stuff, that'd be amazing. 96% chance to get an enraged token on kill. That is solid. Shame I'm kind of stuck with this Signum though, but that minus 50 heat resist, that is carrying me. I will be 100% honest, that carries me so much. Everything else is kind of what I expected, but still, I got something, so I can't complain. And these 2 Aegis Psalms, that was a great pickup. just mulch everything. And I'm gonna call it here. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.